Ukraine's new motorcycle unit is adopting a Russian tactic. Fast, deadly, and often unsuccessful. It's a gamble Kyiv may not be able to afford. Russian motorcycle assault tactics have spread to the southern front lines of Russia's 40-month war in Ukraine. The results in the south are the same as in the east. Many of Russia's southern motorcycle troops have been killed by Ukrainian mines, drones, and artillery. But as in the east, the few southern bikers who survive can make a dangerous dent in Ukraine's defenses. Motorcycle assaults are almost always fatal to the troops who try them, but that doesn't mean they can't succeed. Ukrainian commanders, however, should think twice before copying the method. Russia can afford to lose troops. Ukraine can't. A Ukrainian military task force south claimed Russia attacked in the Malinivka area on Friday. But analysts found the site of the attack in Nestoryanka, 40 miles to the east in the same region. The assault, however, failed because about a dozen motorcycle squads hit mines, were hit by drones, or were hit by artillery. Their plan was doomed to failure, the Ukrainian Southern Task Force said. Our soldiers met the motorcycle attack with heavy fire, and as a result, all the enemy equipment was burned. Not a single invader escaped. The Ukrainian defenders, probably from the 65th Mechanized Brigade, were lucky. The thinking behind the Russian motorcycle assault was strange, but not crazy. It involves heavy losses, but it still has a certain result, explained Ukraine's Peaky Blinders drone unit. For example, 20 motorcycles will move, some of them will be destroyed by artillery, some by drones, someone will be knocked out by a mine, and our infantry will meet someone in a firefight. But some motorcycles will still have a chance to jump to the landing site. It only takes a few Russian infiltrators to create a safe haven inside Ukrainian lines, which could escalate into a larger breach. In deploying large numbers of motorcycle squads, Russian commanders are risking the odds and betting that some will eventually ride unscathed past Ukrainian mines, drones, and artillery. Behind them are the same groups, and then more, the Peaky Blinders warned. Friday's motorcycle assault in Zaporizhzhia may have failed, but the next one might not. Manpower glut. This costly assault method only works for the Kremlin because it has manpower glut. Motivated by generous enlistment bonuses and apparently convinced that Russia is winning the wider war, 30,000 new troops are signing up for Russia's war effort every month. That's little more than the number of troops Russia loses each month in Ukraine. Even suicide motorcycle assaults don't tip Russia's manpower balance into a monthly deficit. But Ukraine doesn't have a durable manpower surplus. So the decision of one elite Ukrainian unit to form its own motorcycle assault group is questionable. The 425th Separate Assault Regiment organized its motorcycle company, the first in the Ukrainian armed forces, last month. Ukrainian drones, missiles, and artillery destroyed a Russian assault group outside the town of Siversk in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk Oblast on or before Wednesday, thwarting Russia's latest attempt to break through Ukrainian defenses to attack the so-called Belt of Fortifications, a chain of Ukrainian towns stretching through Kramatorsk and Sloviansk. It was a rare armored assault in a war in which armored vehicles are increasingly vulnerable to drones, mines, missiles, and artillery. At least 4 Russian vehicles, a tank and 3 combat vehicles, rolled towards Siversk in broad daylight. The tanks opened fire. At least one vehicle fired smoke grenades, its crew apparently hoping to hide the assault group from Ukrainian drones. Drones from Ukraine's 4th National Guard Brigade spotted the Russians in the middle of the attack, Heavy fire rained down, including drones with explosive first-person views, drone-dropped grenades, javelin anti-tank missiles, and cluster artillery. In the first minutes after repelling the attack, 1 tank and 3 enemy armored vehicles were hit, the Ukrainian brigade reported. In the face of harsh conditions and abandoned by their leaders, Russian soldiers near Lyman are surrendering in droves, according to Ukrainian military officers. Senior Lieutenant Rostislav Yashchishin of the 63rd Separate Mechanized Brigade reported a dramatic increase in Russian combatants opting for capture, often due to being left without food or water. As per the Army Inform, these surrenders include both Russian soldiers and foreigners, the latter having joined the Russian armed forces in pursuit of citizenship. They didn't initially come here to surrender. They fight as long as they can, but given the hopelessness of their situation, they eventually surrender, explains Yashchishin. In a twist, some prisoners of war hailing from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Armenia joined the Russian military campaigns to earn citizenship, suggesting their primary aim is financial gain and acquiring a Russian passport, Yashchishin notes. The route to citizenship apparently involves a year-long military contract. Meanwhile, on June 17th, deep state analysts signaled a shift, noting the Russian advance toward the main highway to Sumy. However, military analyst Oleksiy Hetman downplayed the threat, emphasizing that Russia had expended its offensive momentum after breaching Ukraine's most vulnerable defenses in this part of the region. On June 16th, the Rubezh Brigade of the Ukrainian National Guard reported the Russian forces have persistently resorted to prohibited chemical weapons for over 3 weeks during assaults in Donetsk, exacerbating the humanitarian crisis. In a covert operation conducted overnight on June 14th, Ukrainian military intelligence agents successfully targeted an electrical substation in Kaliningrad, Russia, cutting power to critical components of the Russian military-industrial complex and armed forces units. Channel 24 reports, citing sources within the main intelligence directorate, GUR, of Ukraine's Ministry of Defense, the meticulously planned sabotage rendered significant Russian facilities completely powerless. Taking place around 4 a.m. on that Saturday, the operation is reported to have caused nearly $5 million USD in damages for Russia. Ukrainian operatives employed a unique strategy, first draining the coolant from a power transformer at the substation, then setting the site ablaze. The resulting fire inflicted substantial damage, effectively halting the energy supply to military enterprises. As we've reiterated, Russia no longer has a rear, whether in the east, west, or any other place on the planet. Every Russian entity involved in the war against Ukraine will face burning, sinking, and destruction, irrespective of its protection level or location, a source emphasized. This incident illustrates the expanding capabilities of Ukrainian special forces to execute effective operations deep within hostile territories.